Thousands of banking jobs are on track to disappear from the U.S. economy. They are not being axed because of policy, but because of technology. For decades, the banking sector has played an outsized role in the U.S. economy. But as technology advances, banks need fewer human workers. As CBS News MoneyWatch reports, about 100,000 jobs could vanish from the banking industry over the next 5 years as companies invest in digital technology. MoneyWatch reporter Khristopher Brooks joins me now from Rochester, New York. He wrote that article. Khristopher, welcome. So how significant are these cuts that are coming to the banking industry, and how soon do we think they will be implemented?
Well, good afternoon, Tanya. Let me give you some perspective to show you how significant these cuts really are. So last year, right, while a lot of industries suffered during the pandemic, the banking industry did pretty fine. There's some data from Wells Fargo that showed the biggest banks brought in around $3 trillion worth of assets in 2020. So they did better than some of the other industries we've seen during the pandemic. So these cuts are coming while the banking industry has done pretty solid during the pandemic. And then the other example, or the other sort of perspective you can think about this as, from 2007 to 2018, it took the four largest banks in our country 11 years to cut 300,000 jobs. And so what we're seeing today is in about 5 years, they're going to cut another 1,000. Now, those two numbers obviously are different, but we're talking about the speed in which these jobs are going to get cut. 5 years as opposed to 11. And the research shows that those jobs are going to start getting cut as soon as we fully recover from this pandemic. So that could be a couple of months or a couple of years, but it's coming down the pike.
That's interesting because the banking industry is certainly not feeling the pain. I mean, if anything, it's growing and becoming more profitable. So as these human workers are cut, where will these excess profits be going?
It seems that they're going to reinvest that money into digital technology. We're talking about artificial intelligence, robots, machine learning, all of the things, all that predictive technology that it takes for these banks to do their job humanless and faster for customers. So you're going to start to see a huge reinvestment in digital banking, particularly in jobs in cybersecurity, particularly jobs in data analysis, more software developers, more so on the IT side of jobs than the front line in front of customers' positions.
Interesting. So is this 100,000 job cut that is coming to the banking industry, roughly, is it considered a similar blow to the cuts that were made in the manufacturing and hospitality industries from the standpoint of employment?
Yeah, somewhat. So obviously the actual roles were different, right? Obviously you don't have bank tellers in factories and other manufacturing sectors, but the reason and the type of jobs are essentially the same thing. For automation, and we're talking about frontline workers, the people who would normally greet you at your bank branch, or the people who would say yay or nay to your loan, the people that you interact with every day. Those are the people that are going to get cut. And that was the same thing we saw in manufacturing and hospitality, right? The person who greets you at the front desk at the hotel and check you in, that's not the situation anymore. You go to the airport and you need your boarding pass. A human isn't doing that anymore. You're scanning your card at a kiosk and they're printing it out and you're on your way. So to some degree, it is the same, but the actual positions are different.
Now, you say that the jobs that are likely to be eliminated are more of those front-facing customer service type jobs. Who will this impact the most? What is the typical employee we're talking about here who stands to lose his or her job?
Right. So we're talking about the bank tellers. We're talking about the call center customer reps. And we're talking about the managers who manage those people. And there's supposed to be a sprinkling of like some corporate level jobs as well. But the main two ones are the bank teller and the call center rep that are pretty much going to see their jobs disappear here soon.
Right. Okay, so on a big picture, sort of level here, Does this mean that schools and parents would be wise to encourage kids going forward to go into technology fields, since there are a growing number of industries moving away from the sort of hands-on, people-forward workforce and more into advanced tech?
I mean, well, look, Tanya, it appears so. Far be it for me to dunk on somebody's dream if they do want to be like a bank teller or, a customer service rep, but it just seems like at this stage, the research suggests if you're trying to have a decades-long career, doing the bank teller thing just is not going to be in your best interest. It's probably going to be a bad decision, right? So if you're one of these younger people, right, high school, college, and you're trying to figure out a job that has some longevity to it, right, something you can pull 10, 20, 30 years off of for a career, you want to, probably start looking at the tech side of these banks, right? The positions I mentioned earlier, instead of wanting to do a teller job or a call center rep job, if your heart is really, really set on working for Bank of America or Citibank or Wells Fargo or something like that, it might be in your best interest to look at the tech side rather than the, human interaction, frontline customer service type roles.
Good advice for parents and teachers as well. Khristopher Brooks of MoneyWatch, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.